Hey there YouTube, you've got an old 60 series Landcruiser and you want to put LED headlights in it, and you're in the bush like we are and you don't have access to things like polarity converters and all that sort of fancy jizz you get in the city and on eBay and all the rest. You can't wait. Here's a way how to do the switching using a couple of old relays, and I've got heaps of them lying around, so I figured I'll give you a burl and show you how to do it, because on these old vehicles they're all negative switched, the headlights, but a lot of these new modern sort of lights and things are positive switched, and you've got to use two relays, one for high beam and one for low beam, and work out how to switch them that way by switching the earth. So the first thing that I'm going to show you here is once you pull apart your headlight and you find your connector there, there'll be three connecting points. You've got to find out which one is your constant which one is your constant power, source of power, and then you've got to find out which side is your low beam and your high beam. And on this one we've got constant power on this side, and so that'll be 12 volts when you turn your lights on, and there's 4 wires going from that, and I'll show you where they go in a second. And then you've got your low beam on the top and you've got your high beam on the bottom. Understanding that this is the switch, so this is what turns your lights on and off, low beam and high beam, and it's your earth that you're switching, not your positive or not your power. So the first thing you do is obviously you get your light and you find out which one is your negative or which one is your earth, and often it's the black one. So you get your earth and you find a good point on the body or on the battery to earth that out. That'll complete your circuit when you turn your headlights on and off. And the second two are your low beam and your high beam. Now they'll make different colors for various types and whatnot, but on this particular headlight, your low beam is your blue wire and your high beam is your white wire, and each of those will have its own relay, so each of those will have its own switch, depending on how you sort of wire it up. So first things first, find your constant 12 volt source of power, and you'll need to run 4 wires from that to each of those relays, and they will both go on each relay to number 30 and to number 86. So you've got 2 wires coming from each of those relays going into one. So there's 4, going into one, and they'll both be for 86 and for 30 constant power. The next one will be your trigger switch or your earth that comes from obviously in the vehicle where you turn your high beams and your low beams on. The first one is your low beam, and that goes to your low beam relay that you've decided which one is your low beam relay, and that will go to 85, and 85 will complete that circuit and therefore turn on your headlights onto low beam. The second one will be your high beam, and that goes to your second relay, and that will go to 85 on your second relay, and that will turn your high beams on. I think other than that, obviously from there, so 87 on each side will go then to your high beam or your low beam. So 87 from high beam goes to your high beam white wire, 87 from your low beam relay will go to your low beam blue wire. And when you're done, hopefully it looks fancy and whatnot, and this is what it will look like. So there's your low beam, and there is your high beam, and I'll put a diagram in the description just there, and you fellas will be able to work it out from there. So I hope that's helped you out. Okay, cheers.